Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and I am so excited that you decided to take time out of your day to spend with me because today is about the vamps. Okay, we are doing a vampire reading vlog. I love vampires. They're probably my top non-human creature type situation. Like I'm a vampy girl. You know what I'm saying? And so there have been a lot of vampire books to come out, a lot of vampire books that I'm interested in. And I feel like October is a good month to do a little, vampy reading. So that's what we're gonna do. So there are some books that I want to read, and yeah, I would show you like my TBR for this video, but I've already blown that up. You'll see in a few seconds, minutes, whatever, but I've already blown it up. So there's no point in me showing you a TBR for this. Just know you are going to get some vampy books, and I'm super excited to be doing this month, So let's just get into these books and see what I get up to. Okay, so I am ready to update you guys on the Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I think I'm about, yes, I'm on page 147, which is the beginning of chapter 19, and I'm 24% in. And so this book picks up basically directly after the events of The Serpent and the Wings of Night. And I'm realizing at this moment that there's not going to be much that I can say about this book because I don't want to spoil Serpent. But yeah, we're just kind of dealing with the aftermath of what happened at the end of the Kajari. And yeah, I am so sad. I am sad, y'all. I am feeling for Rhea. I am feeling for Rain. They have kind of been torn apart by this big event. And I completely understand why, they aren't together, because this is a big thing for them to kind of overcome and have to get over to go forward as with a relationship. But I just wanted to hurry up and happen because I like them together so much. I loved them. So I'm just kind of, I'm sad that they're sad, and I want them to be happy and to get everything that, my eyeball is bitch. Goodness. To get everything that they want and, to be happy. So I'm just cruising along, trying to see what's going to happen. What I will say is that Veil from Six Scorched Roses has already appeared. I think he showed up in like the second chapter of this, and he has a pretty decent role in this book. So yeah, I haven't really seen Lilith yet, but I will let you know whenever she comes up and if there is a significant situation, and also about the reading order of this. But yeah, I'm just having I want to say I'm having a good time, but like I said, I'm sad, but I'm having a good time, but I'm sad. I don't know. And I'm very interested to see where this story goes, because there is one person who, I'm wondering if I can say it. Okay, so there's this character Septimus. He was also in Serpent of the Wings of Night, and he is in this one as well. And I'm just trying to figure out what he got going on. What you doing? I can't figure out what his goal is, and that's got me like scratching my head, like, what you doing? I'm watching him. I'm side eyeing him. I need to figure out what he's doing before he do it. So I'm just having a fun time. I love being in this world. I love Carissa Broadbent's writing. And I wasn't even going to read this for this vlog, okay? I had no plans to put this in the vlog. But Lex was reading it, and we buddy read the first book. And so I was like, oh, I guess we don't have to buddy read this one. It'll be fine, because she really wanted to go ahead and get into it. So I was like, don't let me hold you up. Go ahead and do you. And so she was reading it, and she's like, no, we need to talk about this. Like, I really want to talk about this with you. So you kind of need to, like, as soon as you can. So I was like, say less. Say less. Let me get started. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch up to you, but at least we can, talk about it as I'm reading, and you won't be like so far removed from it that you don't remember. I already had a TBR set for this vampire blog, vlog, and the Ashes and the Star Cursed King was not supposed to be a part of it. So we'll figure it out. We may have to do a little moving around, but yeah, this is what's happening. So anyway, I'll be back with you when I got something to say. Good morning, friends. Forgive my crustiness. I just woke up not too long ago, but I wanted to pop in and tell y'all that I have finished The Ashes and the Star Cursed King. And I don't know if I finished it or it finished me, but y'all, this this was amazing, to say the least. Like, I was a little nervous going into this because I wasn't sure that that it was going to have the same magic and the same effect that the first book had on me. And also, like, second book syndrome is a real thing, and I was nervous, but I have learned that I should not doubt Carissa. Like, she knows what she's doing. I'm not going to doubt Carissa. So I have so many things that I could say about this book, but I really do not want to spoil. Sorry, I keep looking down at this microphone because y'all, I've been scarred. I recorded a clip last night when I finished it, and baby, the mic went off. And I am determined not to have that happen to me because I can't record this for a third time. This book is heavy, and I can't do it. So yeah, if I'm looking down and looking weird, it is because I am going to be checking every 2 seconds to make sure this microphone is still on. So yeah. I need a break from holding this big ass book. Okay, but anyway, so it says something that in both The Serpent and the Wings of Night and this book that I got to a point where I just could not stop. I was about 70-ish% in, and I binged the rest of it. And that's saying a lot because this is a thick ass book. I think it's close to, how many pages is this? Okay, so we're right at 600 pages. I love how Carissa Broadbent can have so many intricate moving parts and so many different things going on, and also so many things that could happen. Like, you never know which route she's going to take. Are we going to have heartbreak, or is she going to like give us a little bit of a happy conclusion to whatever is going on? Like, you just never know, and it's just such a great time, and I cannot recommend this series enough. It is going down as one of my all-time favorites. Y'all were right, and I can't believe that I've known about these books for so long and just didn't pick them up because I didn't believe the hype. This time, y'all were right, and The Ashes and the Star Cursed King is getting an easy 5 stars for me. I'm so excited that I got to experience this series and to be in on the know, So yeah. Hey y'all, so I am about 90 pages into Interview with the Vampire, and I wanted to hop in and kind of give a little bit of an update. But first off, why does this not have chapters? I did not know that this did not have chapters, and I'm struggling with it. I don't like that. Like these parts are so long. Like I'm stopped in the middle of a part. Like it has parts, but these parts are long as hell. So it's hard for me to like gauge, okay, I'm gonna read a couple chapters and then I'm like, I can't do that with this. Yeah, why you do that? It's stressing me out. I went into Interview with the Vampire very blind with very little knowledge of what this was actually about, other than we were interviewing a vampire. My interest with this book came from seeing previews of the show, mainly because our main character played Grey Worm in Game of Thrones. I know. But that's the truth. That's my truth, and that's what happened. So once I saw the show, I was like, oh, that's a book. Maybe I should check out the book before going into the show, and that's what I'm doing. So in this, we're basically following the story of our main character, Louis, who has been turned into a vampire by Lestat, and it's just kind of following his life. He's telling us what happened over time, and he's, giving this interview to this little boy, and that's basically it. There are a lot of things that has happened over his lifetime, and he is, selling the story of Lestat, who the vampire who turned him, and how their differing views on vampirism and just life in general kind of have them at odds at times. I am like listening to the audiobook and following along, and I love the narrator for this. It just kind of feels like I'm being told this almost bedtime story, and I'm here for it. I'm enjoying my time so far. I'm just irritated that there aren't chapters and that these parts are so long. But anyway, yep, having a good time. That's still corny. Ew, cringe. Hey friends, I am back with not so good news. And that is that I have decided to DNF. I don't even know that I would. Goodness. I decided to DNF Interview with a Vampire. I was about 194 pages in, and I just didn't care. I didn't care. I wasn't excited to pick this up. I wasn't having a bad time. I just didn't really care about what was going on. And it was starting to get a little weird for me. And this might be mildly spoilery, but whatever. But another person besides Louis was turned, and the things that were being said and the kind of relationship that looked like was building was weird to me. I didn't like it. It made me feel icky. So yeah, I just decided to not even do that. And I don't even know. I don't think anything actually happens between them or anything like that. I just, nope. I'm not even gonna play around with it. So yeah, that is what is gonna happen with this. Unfortunately, now hit my lip, which is unfortunate though, because I really thought that I was going to enjoy this. It's going to be something that I like, but I do think that I will still attempt to watch the show because I feel like this will be more interesting to watch than just to read. So we'll see. I'm not even gonna waste my time on this. So yeah, so that's all I have to say. Yeah. Hey y'all, so I am about 100 pages into this book, and that means that I have just finished Act 1, and that is This Ravenous Fate by Hayley Dennings, and I think I am ready to kind of talk about it. So in this book, we are following Elise Saint, who is the daughter of this evil, disgusting man who has this empire basically where he manufactures the metal that people use to kill reapers, and reapers are just another name for vampires. And so we follow Elise, who has been attacked by her best friend Layla, who was turned into a Reaper. And she ran away to Paris to pursue her music. And now she has come back for the 10th anniversary of the Saint Company or whatever. And some things happen, right? And then we also are following Layla, who was turned into a Reaper at a very young age. I think maybe like 13 or something like that. And her parents have also passed away. And she's just kind of out here on her own. And also dealing with the fact that she is now a Reaper, and Elise has something to do with that. We don't know what yet, but yeah, that's what we kind of have going on. My first thing that I want to say about this book is I absolutely hate Tobias Saint, who is Elise's father. He is just this awful, disgusting, evil man. Like his first entrance into this book, I was like, nah, mm-mm, mm-mm. And now every time he is on the page, I'm like, please leave. I don't want to hear a word you have to say. I don't want to even like interact with you through the pages because like, ugh, ew. Cannot stand the man. Ugh. And so yes. And also like thinking about, I'm not gonna go into too much detail because I don't want to spoil, but the fact that Elise has to be the one to protect her younger sister Josie, who is 10 years old, because her father is such an awful person, and her mother is giving abusive, but it hasn't like been said outright. If her mother can't stand up for herself, then there's just no way she's going to even stand up for her children, right? So Elise has to be the one to look out for Josie and sacrifice for Josie and make sure that, she gets to be a child and that she's safe, and the things that have happened to Elise, she doesn't want them to happen to Josie. So she's doing everything she can to protect her and allow her to be a little girl, right? Which is very frustrating, but also something that as an older sister, I can completely understand, because I feel like I would do the same thing for my younger sister. So I get that. And then also on the other hand, we have Layla. And I also have so many feelings for Layla because she was robbed of her childhood, right? She was turned into a Reaper at 13 after losing her parent. I don't know which one happened first, but in the same time frame, she ended up losing both of her parents, and she just has a lot of hate and a lot of animosity towards the Saints, specifically Elise. And I want to give her a hug, right? Because that's just a lot to deal with at such a young age. And, I just feel for both of them, which I think Hayley Dennings did a really great job with that, because I feel like sometimes, you usually pick one or the other, like whose side you're on. And as of right now, I wouldn't be able to pick a side. Like I have big feelings of empathy and sympathy for both Elise and Layla, so I would not be able to pick a side right now. However, we don't know what happened to Layla and what Elise had to do with it. So I think that will kind of be like what makes me pick a side. But as of right now, I am just rooting for both of them to find their way out and to find what they are searching for in life. So at the point that I am at right now, okay, I didn't want to spoil it, but this is actually in the synopsis. So where I am right now, there has been a situation that has put Layla behind bars, and her only way to even getting a piece of freedom back is to work with Elise to kind of figure out what's going on, and also to free herself of the blame. And yeah, so that's what's happening right now. And I think this is where we are going to get into them maybe possibly becoming friends again and romance somewhere. I looked at, like, because the book is separated into 4 acts, I think, and act 2 is the largest. Like, I think it takes up like maybe half the book or close to it. So we're really getting into it, really get into it, and I'm excited and ready to see what's next. We are set against this 1920s Harlem background, and that is just giving the vibes, and I'm just having a good time. And yeah, this is really easy to read. I feel like when I'm in it, I'm in it, and I'm just like flying through it, and I'm having a good time. So yeah, I'm ready to continue and figure out what happens. So I finished this Ravenous Fate last night, and I think I have sat with it long enough to be able to tell you what I thought about it. So, first off, this book was not what I was expecting, not in a bad way, but I just assumed we were getting black sapphic vampires, and it was going to be like a romanticy type situation, and that we were just going to be set in 1920s Harlem. That's not what this is, okay? So if that's what you're looking for, then I don't think you should pick this up, because I don't want you to give this a bad review just because it's not what you're expecting it to be, right? So I think I gave you the gist of what this was about in my earlier clip, but really this is more of like a murder mystery, because that is what is at the center of everything that is going on. It is the reason why our two main characters, Layla and Elise, are even working together. Can I prop this on my leg? Yeah. So it's a murder mystery, basically. And also just trying to figure out what is going on in the city, period. Yes. So the romance is not really the big thing in this at all. I mean, we do get, glimpses and pieces, but it's definitely not the main focus of this book at all. This book is a discussion on Black history, on racism and classism, and a lot of other things. They're very important discussions in this book. And I do love that it is a YA book because I do feel like kids and teens need to be aware of these things before becoming an adult and being surprised about what life looks like as an adult, especially as a Black person. So, yeah, this was really good on those conversations. And then also, as well, we got to see um, some anxiety rep, some OCD rep. And as a person with anxiety, I feel like this was good, but I can't really speak to the OCD rep in that because I don't have OCD. But yeah, I think this book had a heavier tone than I was expecting. And that's probably because I didn't do my own research. I watched Hayley on BookTube and I had just decided that I was going to support this book no matter what. So it didn't really matter to me what it was about. Now going in that this is a heavier book that touches on deeper topics than just like a surface level fantasy romance book. That's not what this is, okay? But I really enjoyed the way that there are so many like complex situations going on. I wasn't expecting to feel as deeply for both of our main characters as I did. I found myself feeling big feelings for both Elise and Layla and just wanting the best for them and trying to be like, okay, like, and just trying to figure out how they were going to figure this out because it seems like the odds were greatly stacked against them and still seem that way as well. There were a couple of like pacing issues that I have with this book. The ending felt like, there was a lot thrown in at one time to keep the book going, even though this is going to be a duology. And I felt like there was a point where we could have stopped and saved the rest of it for the second book, but it kept going. And so the ending felt a little underwhelming compared to if we had just stopped a little bit sooner. I feel like it would have had more of an impact. But this is also a debut novel as well. So, I mean, I can't fault, a debut author at all for these things. And I really think this is definitely a triumph for sure for a debut author. Like this is a really good book. Um Regardless of whatever small issues that I had with things inside, this is a really good book, and I think a lot of people should pick it up. But also remember that this is a YA book. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like sometimes we pick up books that are YA books as adults and forget that we are not the target audience. So just remember that. And you know, pick this book up because I think more people need to read it. You know what I'm saying? You know? Yeah. But anyway, I ended up rating this a 4-star. Like I said, I had a really good time with this. And for it being a YA book, I think it tackled some really hard topics in a really good way. And I'm anxious to see where we go. I'm anxious and excited to see where we go in this because, you know, we left in a very precarious situation, and I want to see how our characters are going to find their way out of this very tangled web of lies, deceit, and craziness. So, yeah, had a really good time with this. Would definitely recommend everybody pick this up. So, while I am reading this Ravenous Fate, I felt like I needed a Kindle book just because it's easier to read at night and I just like reading at night when I'm in the bed. And so I decided to pick up Witchbound-Book 1, and that is by Sable Cross. And this is a vampire witch romance. This book follows Strawberry, and I hate that that's her name, but whatever. Strawberry comes from an estranged family in the witch community, and so she is trying to fight against that, and the council really isn't giving her any leeway for, we don't know what her family did, but whatever they did, Strawberry is kind of dealing with the consequences of that. And so she feels like they're not allowing her to really tap into her power or trying to help her really elevate her powers. So she goes and steals this old ancient tome of like blood magic, and she takes it to this woman who is essentially the vampire king, and her name is Eris. Strawberry asks Eris to help her translate this novel because it's in an ancient language that she doesn't know, and to also kind of help her hone this blood magic as well. And Eris sees this as a way to kind of expand her reach and to bring a witch into her fold and, kind of have the upper hand within it's called they call themselves the beings. So that's everyone who's not human. And so she feels like having a witch on her side is the way to kind of up her rank. So she tells Strawberry that she'll help her, but Strawberry has to serve her court as well. And so reluctantly, Strawberry decides to go along with it because she really feels like this blood magic is the way to elevate her powers and to show this council what she's capable of and to kind of make everyone forget about the bad light that has been shed on her family. During these training sessions, if you will, Eris and Strawberry kind of build this or sense that they have this like deeper connection, and they find themselves like thinking about each other and being entranced with each other when they're not around. And so yeah, I feel like this is, I mean, of course it's going to turn into a romance, that's what it is, but it hasn't happened yet. I'm about 30% in, and so yeah, we are just getting into a couple of training sessions and them just starting to really like think about or realize that they do have this deeper connection. And yeah, so this is interesting. I'm not saying like I'm having the best time reading this, but I'm actually like, but I'm also not, I don't know, I'm enjoying myself, but it's not like giving me 5-star feelings or anything. I think it's pretty good so far. I feel like, yeah, I just need to read more to kind of decide what my feelings are going to be about this. But as of right now, I'm having a good time. Good, not great. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this. Let's talk about Witchbound. I ended up DNFing this. I was about 47% in, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand the purpose, right? And if I'm halfway through a book, I need to know what is going on, or at least have an idea of the direction that we're moving in. And I did not have that with Witchbound. There were supposed to be like lessons, and Strawberry was supposed to be learning from Eris, but it seemed like they would just get together, they would try a spell, and then that would be it. Like, we didn't, like, I don't know how that's actually learning. It seemed like Eris was just testing her powers and seeing what she could do. And then on top of that, they were like falling in love with each other, but like that was their only interactions. So I don't understand how they were falling in love with each other. Like, we were never shown that. So when they were talking about these big feelings that they have for each other, I was confused. I was like, am I skipping pages? Am I reading a different book? Where are these feelings coming from? And so, yeah, I just decided that this wasn't going to be for me and I wasn't going to continue it, only to not give it a good review. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about this. I don't want to just, talk shit about it, so I'm gonna leave it at that. And with all of that being said, that brings us to the end of this vampire reading vlog. I had a great time for sure. I love reading vampire books. They're my faves. But this vlog was a little it was a little interesting, right? Because we read The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. Absolutely loved. 5-star, favorites of the year, favorite all time. Like, love the crap out of that book. And then we went into an interview with the vampire, DNF. This Ravenous Fate, and that ended up being a 4-star. And then we're ending with Witchbound, which was also a DNF. So, a bit of a mixed bag here. But it's fine. I always love trying out new vampire books and seeing, what's going to stick out, what's going to hit. So, yeah, anyway, I guess it's time to wrap this up. Thank you so much for staying until the end of this video and listening to me yap about vampires. And I hope that you have the best day that you possibly can. And I will catch you in the next vlog. Bye.